guys. Hey, yo, it's the Hyperman Set, Spidey, King and Dav, live and direct, coming to you with the podcast for the Fairy Tale Discord. And
You sounded
how is
like
everyone going?
you don't understand how cringe you sounded.
That's fine.
I'm gonna start.
This is literally like the opening to that fucking music video, "A Pretty Fly for a White Guy," about the white guy trying to sound black, but he just fails at it, and yet somehow the women are okay with it.
Of course they are.
Dev is definitely KSI. Got it.
No, please, I don't have a fucking lisp. I can say my S's properly, bro. My tongue doesn't get bitten by my teeth. Not out here going.
Hey, yo, they're a funny group. Anyway, there was only one chapter this week.
For Eden Zero, yeah. There is 142 hovering around out there, but it is a fan translated version.
We actually do have an Eden Zero chapter that we had to read? I didn't read it. So
there's 141.
Wait, what's who translated the Eden Zero chapter?
There's the official one?
Did some translations from Portuguese to English. Somebody just adapted it and typeset it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't read 141, so we're gonna skip that just for the record.
Alright, that's fine. It was a good chapter, but I'm fine with that.
I don't what the fuck happened. I didn't read it. You son of a I gotta pee myself. So this podcast, since there's only one chapter and the anime, of course, we could go full Marvel. What do you guys say?
I mean, we could, and I'm okay with it. I think we should just go for like the Fairy Tale easy stuff first, and we'll make the determination after.
No, that's what I'm saying. Can you you guys tell that we actually practiced this, rehearsed it? So we talk Fairy Tale because I didn't read the Eden Zero chapter, so there's no point in having just
we weren't Eden Zero. It's only one chapter as well. So
yeah, and it's no point in having Dab talk about it by himself. So you could skip Eden Zero, talk about the Fairy Tale chapter, the Eden Zero anime, and then we could talk Marvel. Because there was actually a lot of news regarding Marvel too.
We saved the Eden Zero anime, but are you watching it?
I'm watching it.
Oh, I'm not. I'm waiting for it to come on Netflix.
Oh, okay, then yeah, we'll just skip everything. We'll skip Eden Zero this week. We praised it too much. I don't want the Fairy Tale fans to get all butthurt and be snowflakes about it.
The only time I check out the anime is when I download the Raw, just to check that it's not terrible, and then put it in the drive.
Makes sense. But yeah. All right. So with that out of the way, and Dav's cringe opening.
You say cringe opening. It was my week for the song. So that was my song.
That was not a song.
That's
that
not
was
a song.
No,
you were just talking.
No,
you were just talking, bro.
You didn't even put music in the background like I did.
What? You didn't put music in the background?
I listened to the recording. I absolutely
did. He actually did.
To be fair, once we finish recording, I don't go and re-listen to it. I just leave it.
That's a you problem, bro.
It's too long.
That is a you problem.
That's fine. I don't
Speaking
mind.
of recording, we got a copyright strike because of the audio from the Captain America thing.
What? Because I put that Star Spangled Man intro in it?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Jesus. I think that's a fan recording of the song, not even the original.
I don't know. It was some dumb shit.
It's all your fault that we're not making money now from this.
We were making money. Where's my cut?
We weren't making money.
Right?
But it said all funds will go to the studio. We're like, oh, well. I guess
Spidey, give me the password to the YouTube. I want to take a look at that.
I gotta find it. Or should I just say it out loud? I'm kidding.
No, because we already know what happened to the other fucking Discord servers that got their passwords hacked. So let's not invite that to us.
Password's definitely not Spider-Man 123.
It actually isn't. Or is it? Dun dun dun.
Question is, does it have a hyphen or not? That's where you got to trick people.
Anyways, we can talk about that in the Marvel discussion. We got it out of fucking focus, sir. We gotta go back to focusing. Let's talk Fairy Tale 100 Years Quest. It was, what was the name of the chapter?
It was
Sword Saint.
So, that's right, Sword Saint, chapter 81. Yes, the translations were a little late. That's because translators got jobs and lives, bro. So for those bitching, because some of you were bitching, tough shit. For those who
It
were
happens.
asking, nicely, there's your answer. But those who were bitching, fucking learn Japanese and translate it yourself. Anyway, chapter 81, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Yeah,
All right. What did you guys think of the chapter?
Just
I
like
liked
anybody.
Me go. Oh no, we starting horrible. We didn't talk about how our day went. So King, tell us how your weekend
Oh
was.
no! What we'll do that after Fairy Town in between Marvel because I don't want to break the flow. I'm just wondering should Dav go first, but Dav was starting, so I'm gonna say Dav goes first, and then I'll give my opinion right after.
Got it. We could do that. All right, Dev. What did you think of the chapter Sword Saint, chapter 81, which can be found in Sorcerer Weekly, the Imgur, or the Discord server where they send us zip files?
the chapter was like the art was great. I love the art. I've been reading quite a bit of manga recently, so when I've been paying more attention to art styles, and the fight was really clean and quite well organized. It's nice to finally see Celine do something and not just be like, "Ooh, hot guy, wow."
You didn't like her thighs.
I did, but she didn't do anything. She was over. She was like massively hyped, and then we're just like, "Oh, you're gonna do something." But yeah, it was nice to actually see them do something. And the thing that intrigued me the most was, well, I say intrigued, confused me the most was Suzaku's magic, Saint Dragon Slayer magic, and or Sword Saint Dragon Slayer magic. Basically, sounds like a better version of Kiria. What about you guys?
I generally agree. To me, like Sword Saint Dragon Slayer magic just seems like a mouthful beyond what we would have expected. Like you said, they're both sword users. Hers is like I can cut people's emotions or whatever, and his is like no, I literally cut shit. That's literally my power. I'm like,
Hers is
I mean,
hypothetical. His is actual.
yeah, basically.
Dude, you're
I
not
don't know.
wrong.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like
Hypothetical Dragon Slayer.
hypothetical. I appreciate the pun, but like, yeah, I don't know. I wasn't very impressed, if only because of the title. Like, what's his actual? He's just a swordsman. That just feels kind of lame at this point because we've got so many. It's been done before. Kagura, Urza, obviously, Ikaruga. What's her face? Yeah, Kiria, and I was there a swordsman in the Alvarez arc? Maybe I'm forgetting.
I don't
Anyway,
think there was.
was DiMaria kind of a swordsman?
Demario was kind of the swordsman of the group. She's a time user, so I don't know if
Yeah,
Yeah. Swordsman wasn't her main thing. It was her weapon of choice,
yeah.
but it wasn't.
Right,
She didn't need it. It wasn't like her go-to.
right. Because in
Um,
her final battle, she didn't. She was
Yeah, she
time.
just
She turned into the time god.
She just fucking clenched her teeth and was like,
Chronos.
Yeah,
But yeah, no, I agree. Having a sword. Look, I love swordsman, and that kind of theme. I love
You
it.
like Kiri too? I got you. I got you.
I don't mind Kirito, to be honest. But anyways, it's more of a case like you said, we've seen it over and over again, and this one just seems like he's the one where he just quickly takes he brings his out slowly and then closes it, and then all of a sudden, want to see me do it again? Want to see me do it again? But like lightning fast reflexes, and I feel like it's just gonna be what's the word? It's just gonna be a repeat of every other sword fight that we've had. They're gonna clash a little bit, and then he's gonna have some mad power up on the sword, and then that's gonna be what wins it for him. I'm just like,
Interesting.
yeah. Roughly speaking, I agree. I mean, the only difference here, I think, is just because Celine should be such a powerful enemy, it probably wouldn't be so simple and straightforward, or at least I hope it wouldn't be so simple and straightforward.
It shouldn't be, yeah.
Yeah.
Spidey, what about you?
Yeah, man, what are your thoughts?
So, first of all, I am fascinated by the fact that we have more dragons, quote unquote. Well, obviously, we didn't see the Sword Saint dragon, but I'm interested in the fact that I don't know if it's Yuto or Mashima who is coming up with these new dragon concepts. I think it's fascinating. I like it. But there's always a but. I just don't give a fuck about Suzuku. Whatever the fuck his name is.
Because
I don't give a shit. No, I don't give a shit about the way he talks. He wants to be fucking Shakespeare. That's fine.
But it's his immaturity.
No, it's because he was introduced. We get introduced to him, right? And he's a badass. He's like mows down those villains in the Great White Village or whatever. He mows them down, and then naked.
Yeah.
It's like, bruh. And then, like, I have conflicting feelings on the guy. I'm interested by the concept of the sword saint magic, but at the same time, like, okay, if he says he is a dragon slayer, so why the hell couldn't he spell Natsu? Why couldn't he tell Natsu was a dragon slayer before Natsu told him he was a dragon slayer? Why couldn't he do other shit? Like, he doesn't have the characteristics of a dragon slayer, so it's like, are you really a dragon slayer?
I thought about that as well.
It's just
the one thing that I thought about. So I've got my friends who aren't on Discord who also read 100-Year Quest, and one of them actually brought up the idea that he ate the dragon, the sword, the saint. What was his name? Kanugi? Yeah, Kanugi, right?
It was Kuronugi, but yeah.
Okay. So he ate that dragon, right? What if, and that dragon was apparently part of the underworld?
Well, no. It's the Mesopotamian god of the underworld. So it's just.
I think that was just a translation note to signify where it came from in the real world. Not that the underworld, quote unquote, has any relevance in the fairy tale world.
Correct.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So his point still comes. So basically, what I would say is not necessarily that that Suzaku was originally a dragon slayer. He thinks that maybe Suzaku is a swordsman at heart, right? Who managed to slay a dragon, who then ate said dragon and inherited its powers in some way.
And his powers were.
That's the other thing. That part we don't know, which is why I'm thinking it's just going to be a case of he's going to power up his sword and be like, ooh. The saint part makes me kind of think we've got Dragon Slayer, we've had God Slayer, right? We've got Demon Slayer. Saint could be like, I don't know, fucking Angel Slayer. I don't know. That's gonna slay if that is the thing, it's gonna be shit. But
I don't think. I mean,
it's not a far fetched idea. But then you're going on that fine line of God versus Angel kind of thing. And he just introduced him more.
I would agree if the series ever actually had introduced him.
Oh yeah, no. Yeah, I agree with you. But that's you mentioned that, and I was like, I don't like the idea, but it's not it's not an idea that isn't completely out the window. But yeah, Suzaku to me, I think his design's cool, but then he's an immature little shit, and I'm hoping the goddamn powers are actually something cool.
I actually think that Celine's gonna beat his ass pretty bad.
I would love that. I would love to see Celine just whoop his ass.
I think Celine will win, but I'm not 100% sure she would whoop his ass easily. I feel like it would be a case where she beats him. He's able to get off one hit, though, that does actually injure her. Therefore, she has to retreat, and then the next fairy tale thing is we have to go find her and kill her while she's still weakened or something like that. Very Inuyasha style.
I don't know. I just have a sneaking suspicion that Celine is gonna beat his ass. She got the scar. Obviously, the way she talked about this sword saint fellow, she was close to him to an extent, right? And then
I don't know if it said. I was just reading the chapter. I don't know if it meant she was close to him, personally. It was more like she just knew of him to the same extent any dragon would know of another dragon.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
But that's still, she knew of him, and then she talked about how humans don't know their place and how they're constantly trying to kill them, yada yada yada. So it's like maybe she can. I just hope she one shots him. I don't like Suzuki, so Mitsubishi, whatever the fuck your stupid ass name is.
Mitsubishi. Yeah, no.
Oh my god, have you guys seen Yu Yu Hakusho?
I've seen a bit, but not that much of it.
Oh, fair enough. Never mind. Then I was gonna make a joke, but no one would get it.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Feels bad, man. Yeah, I apologize.
I like what this chapter brought in terms of more world building and more character introductions, if you will.
It gives us something more to look forward to, hopefully.
I just don't care about the guy who has those abilities. And I'm sorry. Just to him.
One thing I will say that was really cool. The end of the chapter where the moon was getting huge. If you look at the reaction that her team has, fucking Death by Snoo Girl and then the other chick, their reactions, the one chick is like smug. She's like, oh, just let someone really got her mad. And then the other one's like, yeah, hugeness is justice. I wonder how many times Celine's had to go into this. I'm going to call it a mode. I wonder how many times she's had to get this serious. Because it's obvious that she has done it before. Because the team's obviously seen it. Because they haven't reacted in a way like, oh shit, this is what it looks like.
I agree. And then there was that one chapter, I don't know, it was early 60s, I think, or 70s, where I think it was Jalal and Urza talking in the bridge, and then the moon was like, it got super big. So I'm intrigued to see where we go from here. I just
do you think it's going to be like in Avatar when the moon's it's a full moon, that waterbenders are more powerful, right? Do you think it's going to be like that kind of situation where depending on like what the size and state the moon is at, she gets more powerful? So if it's like a crescent moon, she's not as powerful.
I would hesitate to say that, if only because it seems like in the case of Celine, she controls what size the moon will be. So it should be kind of bending to her will rather than enabling her one way or the other.
So could she turn a crescent? So do you think she could turn a crescent moon into a full moon?
Conceivably, yes.
Okay.
Because technically speaking, what is a crescent moon if nothing but the moon as obscured by night and shadows?
Yeah, by light. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I just, I guess, yeah. Actually, yeah, I guess because then she'll enlarge the moon, and then eventually, that the dark side that is within the shadow will come out of the shadow. So yeah, okay, that's fair. But yeah, I think Celine's powers are going to be cool. This is me being hopeful because she's hot, but I'm not.
Well, no, if you notice in the last page, she started turning her. She was becoming more dragon-like, right?
Yeah.
She had her human form. She was just fucking around, like, oh, that's cool. We'll play. Well, I'll play by your little rules. I'll do this little magic that might affect you. I hope, and if it does, you're dead. Whatever. And then she saw that homie was actually not that useless
and serious.
And so she was like, okay. What I don't get is, homie laughs at the word naked. She's half naked. Why isn't he laughing?
Maybe when he's in fight mode, he doesn't laugh at that stuff. I don't know. I don't know.
He's a very weirdly written character. I'll say that.
Yeah, like I said, I like his design. I just don't like the immaturity side of it.
His design is just Rogue with a freaking sword.
If he looks better, Rogue looked like shit.
I mean, he just has a ponytail. That's the only difference, if we're being honest.
Okay, maybe it's just the art. I don't know. Suzuki looks better.
That's fair. I mean, I guess. Andy King, any final thoughts you want to add about the chapter?
No, not particularly. I'm just curious about the next one. I just think it will be a continuation of the fight scene, specifically the one involving Suzaku and Celine. I don't really expect to see the fairy tale mages up until like the end, give or take. So yeah, that's basically my prediction, so to speak. But I don't have any more opinions. I think I've already said whatever I needed to say.
Oh, one thing we didn't mention is the fact that Gray wasn't useless this chapter.
He wasn't. What did he do?
What did he do? He just ran around with Natsu on his back.
No. He was the one actually giving commands, like, "Yo, get in the portal. Yo, Lucy, we gotta fight."
Oh, he took lead.
Well,
He took the lead.
Yeah, okay.
He took
I
the
mean,
lead. Okay.
it's great.
Yeah.
It's great. All right, there's
Gotta
gotta
give
give
him
them something.
Well, I mean, I'd never say Gray wasn't capable of doing that kind of stuff. I don't think he's an irresponsible character. My contention with him has always just been that he is bland.
Yeah, but exactly. That's exactly. So this chapter he was less planned. So I was like, okay, great. Let's see if you could keep it up for
I
another
guess.
chapter.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough.
I'm trying to be optimistic towards the useless one.
I did find it funny when he turned around and he's like, "Granny, can you be quiet for a bit?" And then she was
Dude,
like,
he straight told you to shut the
That's
fuck
true.
up.
yeah,
I
and
do
then she was like,
appreciate that.
"Ooh, this one's handsome too. I like being treated rough, bro. If I was there, if I was
Does
Gray
it-
and I heard her say
Ew.
that, I would have shivers going down my back, bro. She's about to use you, fam."
I'm interested to see how they react because the granny really like Discount Subaru. That's his new name for me.
Subaru from what series?
3-0.
Or the car, it doesn't matter. They both starts with Sue, so it's fine. She really liked him, and he told Granny that he was hunting Fairy Tale because they heard his friends or some shit. Even though Diablos is more like Sabretooth, pre-Grand Magic Games and anything, but it's okay.
Yeah.
Consistency, whatever. So I'm interested to see how she reacts to all that. But yeah, yes.
One thing actually, I did like the whole. So when Celine launches her attack, the Moonlight Flame, right, and Suzaku, he cuts it down. He cuts the flames. It turns into the butterflies. I think that was a really fucking cool sequence. I'm not gonna lie. I think that was really cool, and I really like the creativity from that. I'm a big fan of characters who use an attack and then they can change its form kind of at will. Like, for example, there's a character in Bleach, right, who does a similar thing where he can change the sword into like flowers. So I'm looking forward to more of that. I like the whole creativity from that, and it's not just simple, whoo, fire. Oh no, you cut it down. More fire.
She actually has like spells, and then not just like attack names, which is
not just like random like sword swings with different names attached to each one.
Yeah, so I found that interesting. I like that.
Yeah, it is more creative. You're right.
So let's just hope that that creativity keeps going, and the creativity goes from her to the future arcs as well. Because I don't want to go from this creative mindset to breathe fire.
You get a general, yeah. Like I said, this chapter had a lot of interesting concepts. I just give zero shits about Discount Subaru, so my enjoyment of it was a lot less. I don't want to be too harsh. I'll give it a 7. Okay. Yeah, 7. So I liked a lot of the stuff with Gray and Lucy. I liked not only because again Gray was actually taking the lead, and it shows that he does have leadership abilities, and it kind of proves my point that Gray should have had his own team, and that would have built the rivalry between him and Natsu better. But also, you see Lucy willing to actually fight, and like obviously in the after Tartaros, she was more confident in fighting, but I'm kind of glad to see that they're being consistent with that and not just being like, oh no, I can't, yada yada yada. I like how Wendy was actually all right. I'm gonna stick to my role, which is support, heal them up real quick, bandage
Everyone
them
knows
up.
their job.
Yeah, so I really like that. Celine versus Discount, it was cool magic. I like Celine's creativity with her spells because they're actually spells. And I'm interested in the lore behind these dragons, these new dragons, these sword saints, whatever. So it's interesting. Actually, no, you know what? I'll be nice. 7.5. I liked more than I thought. I just don't like Discount Subaru. What about you? What about you, Dev?
I'd give it 7.5 as well. But I think whatever happens in the next chapter, because the next chapter, I say obviously, but it should be a continuation of the fight. How that chapter goes could make this chapter an 8 for me, because then it would be kind of like a flow. I liked a lot of the chapter. The only thing I just didn't really like is the. It's kind of. So they went through the portal, and then big woman was like, I can smell them, and then she just burst through the door. That kind. I'm not saying that was bad. I just didn't care for that whole thing, and I kind of feel like, I just wanted more of just a fight. I don't like it when there's a big fight and then they go and do something else. Like, I don't care about the other things happening. I just want to see the fight.
That's a Mashima special right there, though.
Yeah, which I've always hated, but it is what it is. So next chapter comes, be more of the fight. I'll be happy, and this rating will probably go up itself.
That's fair.
You, King?
Mm-hmm. What's up?
What's your rating for the chapter?
5.
Why? He said it with such confidence, like 5. They didn't even take a pause.
Didn't even hesitate. Homie just said 5.
The dude didn't even realize I was asking for it. That's how much he just didn't care for it. So, what? What's your rating? 5?
I would say that's pretty accurate.
All right.
All right. Well, let's move on. So, guys, yeah.
Damn, 5. No, hold on. I kind of want to know his reasoning.
I think it's probably just it's forgettable. So whatever, like 5. It's not like garbage like a 1, and it's not fantastic like a 10. So it's 5. It's got some good points to it. I mean, the difference in technique, like the flower, whatever, that was cool. But again, like sword fighting at this point is just overdone. Not really interested. The fairy tale mages were just kind of running away. Nothing really happened there. Not amused. So I'm just gonna say it's a 5. It's not like I'm not saying the rest of the arc is doomed or whatever.
All right. That's fair. That's fair.
Okay, so with that, that's the chapter done. There's no fairy tale news, right? There's no Eden Zero news.
Dude, what about the anime? It was announced. I'm joking.
Just in case.
I will be AFK for a minute.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
joke was so bad. He needs to just take a walk and just rub his temper. Like, oh, this fucking
Hey, I'm copying what the Fairy Tale Wiki does every year, every few weeks. All right.
Yeah. So wait, there's no news then for anything, right? I don't think so.
Not that I'm aware
No
of.
game. Was there game news? I don't think there was game news.
No, there wasn't any game news. I mean, no, there wasn't. Yeah, no.
Nope.
No.
Okay. Well.
Hiro Mashima's birthday passed. That's about it.
Yeah. Happy Goku Day.
Who's Goku?
Also, it's Piccolo Day, so there is that.
That's probably a Western fan base who made that stupid holiday.
No, Goku Day is an actual day in Japan, and then Piccolo Day
I'm
was...
talking about Piccolo Day.
No, that was in Dragon Ball. In the anime, he actually says every May 9th will be celebrated as Piccolo Day.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
So Piccolo Day is basically Mother's Day.
Yeah. Well, this year, yeah.
Nice.
Piccolo, best dad and mom.
Mm-hmm. What have you been up to, Dev, since King's dead?
Just work. Work's like crazy busy, so I'm trying to get back used to the routine again. But other than that, I've actually, unlike me, I've been getting into more manga. I've been trying to find manga that have shorter amount of chapters that are out to catch up on, because I have no problem reading a manga if I'm reading it as it gets released.
Cough, Higehiro cough.
That too, yeah. But yeah, so like Higehiro I caught up on because it was only like 14 chapters or something
29.
to catch up to. Well, no, from where I read from.
Oh, okay,
15 to 29. And then I'm catching up on Andro-san. I've got about like 40 chapters left to catch up with. Oni-san is invading. Not gonna lie, story is shit. It's 2 chapters though. Maybe it gets better, but she's hot, so. And it's basically explicit. We'll put it that way, so we don't get striked by YouTube for saying a naughty word. And then I think that's really it. It's a bit difficult with what do you call it, being down manga decks. It's a bit of a pain. I'm gonna read that.
You got what's the website? Cat Manga.
Yeah, but you see, obviously
Basically,
the stuff that
hey
they have.
yo, they starting shit. Well, not it's not a bad thing, but like they have Parallel Paradise.
Oh yeah, no, they've been adding so much new stuff. I've been a bit more active in their server to like see what they've been doing. And they've been updating it. They've taken over Fire Force, by the way. I don't know if you know.
Oh no, Pusu Scans is still doing it, but
But
they're
they're
just,
uploading on Cat
yeah
Manga.
they uploaded there, kind of like Parallel Paradise. I forgot what group does it, but they uploaded Cat Manga.
Okay, all right, fair enough. But yeah, so I've been trying to get into more. So, for example, there's Hirosaka, which I'm going to try and catch up on. There's 23 chapters. Shai recommended it to me. Boku no Kanojo, an obtainable flower. Got to check her out. And then I'm gonna go through their website at some point and just see basically if I can find any mangas that are like 20 to 30 chapters so far, because I can read those and catch up. Because I'm trying to like expand my manga itself.
I got you. And then apparently Manga Dex is back or something, right?
Not necessarily. Basically, they've released a test version, which is a bit difficult to. Well, it's not difficult to get, but you got to have a little bit of tech savviness. Got to work through the API and so on. So it's basically like an open beta. It's just not through the website. I've seen some screenshots. It looks real cool. It looks real nice, actually, and I'm excited for it. I saw someone talking about how it's going to be easier for people who are uploading, where you'll be able to like instead of having to go and upload on the day, you can upload and then set to when it gets released or like actually published out. They're going to have that feature, and there's going to be something somewhere they called it bulk upload, where you can work with different.
They're gonna need to do the bulk upload because all the people who have chapters.
Yeah, everyone's got to catch up, and the one of the ways that it was described by someone who tested it out is that the bulk upload can be done. Basically, you can work with other teams. So, for example, if you and Black Cat wanted to work together, you could use one account to upload it into one go. It will still be labeled as Sorcerer Weekly and Black Cat. But it allows you just to do it from one account if you work with them. So for Black Cat themselves, because they've got Black Cat and White Cat in the team, it works for them. But I don't really fully understand because whoever was talking about it, their English wasn't the best, so I was kind of translating the English to English while reading it. But it sounded interesting.
Okay. Cool. Well, I've just been still looking for work. Still waiting for my government money.
They still not giving it to you, bro.
It's been 140 days. Half a year, basically, bro.
That's
a little under half
impressive.
a year. It's impressive is my wife holding everything together for us.
Well, I mean, it's impressive that they're fucking up like.
Oh no, yeah, the colossal fuck up. Yeah, it's God tier. Don't get me wrong, but yeah. I don't really keep up with anime as much anymore. I am, however, watching Higehiro. And of course, I am watching My Hero Academia,
which has finally started to pick up.
Yeah, I've always liked the manga's always been amazing. The anime, I didn't care. I don't care for the other kids. I'm sorry if that sounds rude to people who like Todoroki. Todoroki's the most useless character of them all. I don't care for them. I just want to see Deku and Bakugo's story grow. Like I said, I don't give a shit about anybody else. Maybe All Might's the exception, obviously. But yeah, I've been just keeping up with that. Higehiro is amazing. I don't know how it will end because the final volume comes out sometime in June, right?
Yes.
So I'm interested to see how they're gonna end it. And there's other anime that I used to watch, but I just haven't watched because I don't know if I'm about it or I just don't feel like watching it. Like How Not to Summon a Demon.
Oh, okay. Don't bother. Don't bother.
Oh, there you go.
So I'm watching a lot of anime this season, and that one is my biggest disappointment. Season 1 was great. All right, season 1 was actually really interesting. It had the fan service, but it also had an actual story to it, nice plot. This season, they've just sacrificed all plot for fan service, and it's still basically censored fan service.
I don't.
It's honestly, if I wasn't invested in Diablo and Rem, I probably would have dropped it because each week I'm watching it and I just find myself not even paying attention to what they're saying.
Sorry to interrupt, but speaking of drop, Power just dropped.
Yeah, Power just dropped. Yeah, Power just dropped.
Fucking Power's just become the new Craig.
I was trying to ignore it simply so Dab could continue because I didn't want to distract the man. But
I mean, I had to point it out because it was just like literally the second he said dropped.
Oh.
No, that is very true.
But yeah,
it's got voice commands now, bro. You gotta be careful.
Anyways, I'm back. I'll watch Craig. I'm sorry, I did leave partly because Spider-Man's joke was kind of stupid, but at the same time, I'm hungry.
I mean, to be fair, I just took it from FT Wiki. So what are you saying about the FT Wiki?
I would say I haven't edited in about 7 years. Is what I would say.
This motherfucker could have got food before we started, but no, he decides to get it during the fucking. Oh my days!
I wasn't hungry before the podcast.
One
thing I have rewatched is the Spider-Man movies.
Oh.
No, I rewatched all of them. The Raimi trilogy is still the worst. MCU trilogy or whatever the fuck we want to call it, Abomination. It's
Wait, which was Raimi trilogy?
Raimi trilogy is the one without the fucking hyphen.
Oh.
Tobey Maguire.
Calls yourself Spider-Man, but you don't have the web shooters. You have organic web shooters, and you don't have a hyphen in your name, so you're literally a Spider-Man. Okay, that's fine. And Raimi calls himself the biggest Spider-Man fan. Okay, buddy, you're a fucking idiot. Anyway, that's for the Marvel section.
That's it.
Yeah.
Good talk.
Yeah, I've just been watching. I haven't really been watching anime, like I said. I rewatch Goblin Slayer every now and then. And what else? Oh yeah, I've been playing Call of Duty.
Is it worth getting? Is it actually good? Is it actually good?
Look, everybody's gonna be bitching about Call of Duty because it's tradition to bitch about Call of Duty. It's good. It's not great. It's not amazing. It's not the greatest thing I've ever seen in my goddamn life. But it's okay. It's enjoyable. It's serviceable. If you want an actual game that's good, you wouldn't be playing a Call of Duty to begin with. All these people that say, "Oh, the old Call of Duty was better," shut the fuck up. Just shut the fuck up. Right? Sure, the engine for Modern Warfare was better, but like,
how much is it? It's like $60.
I got it for free, so.
Bruh.
So yeah, but yeah, it's fun. You guys should play it. Warzone got a new update as well, where they basically removed all the Modern Warfare guns. So that's kind of interesting. And yeah, what about you, King? What have you been doing besides nothing?
Give me a second. I need to eat.
There you go. He's eating. That's what he's been doing this whole week. Eating.
What's it called again? Cold War, isn't it?
Cold War, yeah.
How much is it?
It might be on sale on. Oh, you don't have Xbox. You have PlayStation. It might be on sale on PlayStation.
No, I'll probably get it on PC.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because the PlayStation will probably make it sound like a fucking fighter
50 quid.
Oh, that's crazy. Anyways, regarding what I've been doing, I actually just got a job last week.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, basically just going through training right now, but it's good so far.
Nice. Is it a job you enjoy, or is it a job you just wanted to get just to get?
Both.
Okay.
I mean, I like it so far. Like, and it's the industry I want to be in. So I am very much looking forward to my future here and seeing what happens.
All right. Yo, that's awesome. All right.
Before we get into
Otherwise, I've
Marvel,
mostly just been chilling at home and watching like YouTube and stuff like that.
YouTube.
Yeah.
I've been doing that. Oh my god, the Pokemon game came out too, and I haven't been able to buy it
Snap.
because the
Yeah.
goddamn government.
I'm not gonna lie, I've been watching some videos of it. It looks fun, but it does not look worth the price that it is put out as.
I'm not trying. It's a Nintendo game. Nintendo games are always worth full price. There's one or two exceptions, but
there is actually some big news.
yes.
Well, depends on if you consider it big, but I do. The announcement of the new Dragon Ball Super movie in 2022.
Wait, is that actual? I thought that was a meme.
Yeah.
No. So basically,
real.
what happened is 2 days ago.
It just came out yesterday, right?
Yeah. Well, 2 days ago, someone at Toei fucked up, right, and accidentally released the article early, and they took it down pretty much almost instantly. But obviously, the fandom is the fandom, and it sees it like that. So there were videos and skeptical about it, and wanted, but waiting because it was meant to be released on Goku Day. Goku Day came, and now Toei has announced that there will be a new movie in 2022. Toriyama said all the new movies since Dragon Ball Super Broly is currently in the making. Just like the previous movie, I'm heavily leading the story and dialogue production for another amazing film.
All right, so this basically confirms that it's canon.
Yes. I really shouldn't talk too much about the plot yet, but be prepared for some extreme and entertaining bouts which may feature an unexpected character. We'll be charting through some unexplored territory in terms of the visual aesthetics to give the audience an amazing ride, so I hope everybody will look forward to the movie. Now, Broly, I don't know if you guys remember the animation that they had. They had a bit of a mix. Yeah, but they had a mix of normal art animation, and then they had that kind of like Dragon Ball Fighters 3D kind of animation that they had for some of the scenes. It worked well. You could tell the change was different, but it fit. I wonder if he's not going to do something similar. Obviously, not the same because he said they're doing Uncharted territories, but I wonder if it's not going to be like a 3D aspect to it, which I kind of hope it isn't because I love the hand drawn side of it. But I have faith.
I like the way that all Goku and all them were drawn out. It felt they looked more human than like over the top bodybuilding characters, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and also it just looks so smooth with the animation, especially the scene that I posted, the GIF in Brainstorm.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. Yeah.
It looks so smooth. So I'm hoping that they keep that. So I'm excited for that now that we actually know, because Broly did like 124 million during its run in the theaters. So everyone is like super excited for it. Who do you think is going to be the unexpected character? He says unexpected, so it's going to be a character from the past, and I assume it's going to be someone that wasn't canon. That's going to be canon, like Gogeta.
Well, I mean, he was in the Broly movie, so I doubt that.
No. Yes. What I'm saying is, who do you think the unexpected character is going to be?
Oh, the way I see it, it can be a character from one of the previous movies that were non-canon and now have become canon, or it could be something. Sorry, I got a text.
See, my thought is Janemba because you've got Gogeta.
Sorry, Janemba, the guy from movie 12,
the one who fought Gogeta.
Yes, I remember that movie.
That's one of the best ones. So I think it could be that one. I think it could be Janemba. That's what I'd like, actually.
It would be interesting, but I wonder what the plot would be about to bring him in. I'm sorry if this triggers anybody. Well, I'm not really sorry. I actually don't care if it triggers you. I was actually thinking maybe it'll be like one of the like GT villains. Because I mean, I'm thinking like Baby. If only because 17 wouldn't make any sense anymore because of how they've done the character, and Shadow Dragons is kind of a thing you have to build up to. With Baby, it's like, well, you could conceivably do that, and obviously, who the hell would expect it?
GT's not canon, so you could fuck right off.
That's my point.
Neither was Gogeta. That's what he's
Yeah.
saying. So Gogeta wasn't canon, but now it is. So the unexpected character could literally be anything. It could be the fucking farmer from episode 1 of Dragon Ball Z.
You're not down. He's not down.
That'd be
He's not
pretty
down. He's not down.
But it could be anything. I don't know if I'd want any of the GT villains, though. Again, obviously, you could only hope that it'd be better written.
I hope so. Well, actually, I didn't think Baby was that bad as a villain. I thought he was all right. It was more like the
plot
history around him.
it. Yeah, that's what I didn't like. The character itself wasn't too bad, but the plot. So I don't know. My hope is Janemba, maybe Cooler. Tapion I would love. Pycon.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
Oh my boy, Pycon. Pycon and Piccolo.
Janemba or whatever his name is there. Pycon's probably there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Pycon and Piccolo, I think, would be great together.
Did they ever announce like what? Because like what Pycon was like the West Universe's version of Piccolo or something to that effect. I'm just curious. I don't. Did they ever say anything like that? Because I've always been curious about him. I know he was anime only, but yeah.
Basically, that was basically what he was, but he wasn't like. There wasn't. There wasn't too much about it.
I have a question. Do we have like a poster or something, or do we just have?
Nah, we just got a little screen, a little message from Toriyama. We don't have much yet. It's the same thing. This is what happened with Broly. When it was announced, there was a little poster with a little Tory bot in the corner saying, "Yo, I'm working on this thing, and it's going to be great." And then I think it was about 3 to 4 months later is when we got some character sheets. But the character sheets were just Goku, Vegeta. That's when we found out Vegeta and Super Saiyan God. That's when we found that out. And then that's kind of what it was. And then I think a couple months after that is when we found out exactly what everything was about. Because the trailer where the GIF is from, that showed up. And that's when people, because we didn't see Brody. But then his like rage kind of gave it away. But yeah.
Yeah, wasn't the first shot we saw of Broly not necessarily a full body shot, but that scene where he's like powering up in the like distance and Goku in Super Saiyan Blue is like charging and ready to face him? I feel like that was one of the first. And people were like, oh, who could threaten them to that extent? It must be Broly.
I think the first time we saw anything was the GIF. Because then what it was is Goku then stances up after his little hopping around. And then it zooms out and you see Brody, a figure standing at the top of the mountain. The figure is what kind of gave, because he was, bulky as shit.
I don't see it in the GIF you've linked, but maybe it's one that I missed.
I'll try to find it, but yeah, that was basically what it was. And then after that, the next thing, if I recall correctly, was Goku charging forward. So I don't know. I'm looking forward to more news. It'll be a few months before we get anything. This is a big fan thing that I would love, though I don't think it will happen. I would love for them to reuse Gogeta, but Super Saiyan God. I want to see Super Saiyan God Gogeta. I don't want blue. I just want God form because I love the red. I think it's redundant, and I don't think they'll do it, but I'd love to see it.
Yeah, I'd be down too. I'd say if they had Janemba in there, that would probably be an appropriate time to use him.
Yeah, and I think there would be a lot more that they could work on, because it seems like Toriyama wants to start making older stuff canon, especially the popular ones. The Gogeta movie was extremely popular, which is why Gogeta came up around.
Yeah, I read somewhere that like there's a Game Boy Advance game called Boo's Fury, and in the game there is like one of the plots is the Janemba movie, but because the movie hadn't been officially translated, but they still wanted to like have that part in the English language game, they based their translations of the like game dialogue off of like fan subs and stuff. So it's like people clearly care about this movie.
Yeah. Broly was very popular, hence why Gogeta and Broly. So now Janemba was extremely popular. Pycon's very popular as well.
Mm-hmm.
Pycon, in fact, in the Dokkan Battle community, literally everyone loves the dude. And the moment he was released as like an actual good unit, everyone was going for him. And then Tapion is also a big fan favorite. The movie itself was okay, but it wasn't all that. But Tapion as a character was great, so that's another thing.
Yeah, he was chill, but I don't know. He was more of a mentor to the little Trunks, so I don't know if they'd necessarily have him back. But do you think they would have him back?
They do remember though, if they do bring him back, they wouldn't do him exactly the same.
True.
They probably would redo how he is. Like with Broly, Broly was just this fucking weak little shit who then was really powerful when he got angry and bulked up and just beat the shit out of everyone here.
That was kind of the same in the original one too.
Yeah, but then if you look at the actual character itself, you know, he still had an actual his own mindset to it, whereas old Broly was just a constant Goku crying made me sad.
True, yeah. This one was much better developed.
So I feel like Tapion might be a good fan favorite. But the other thing is, he says an unexpected character. It might not be a non-canon character. People have been saying Cell. Please no. I like Cell, but
nah.
Frieza done that already, so I don't think they'll do that. However,
that would be like they would people would expect Frieza to be in there, so it can't possibly be him, but it could be conceivably his brother.
Yeah, Cooler. That's the other one I wouldn't mind. Cooler also got a lot of popularity in Dragon Ball Heroes. I don't know if either of you played the game. The game isn't all that, but you know, it's Dragon Ball. It's one of the more popular characters, especially when he goes golden. So, if that's anything to go by, that's a possibility.
I mean, it could be Cooler based on the fact that we did see him in that height outline that Frieza had.
Yeah.
So it'd be kind of cool if they actually did bring him back, because why would you show him if you don't have plans for him to some extent?
And in the Broly movie, we saw Frieza's dad, all right, King Cold. Mm-hmm. So you know they've already expanded on the family.
Yep.
They brought it back, so it wouldn't be a bad idea to then expand it into bringing Cooler as well, because Frieza's still out there. He's out there now. Man's chilling. Man's alive. Beerus has said, if you try anything, I'm going to erase you. But, you know, it's Frieza. Frieza don't care. So I could see Cooler possibly being a thing. I just hope... I hope more that it's Janemba, just because Janemba's my favorite villain. Or one of.
Okay. What if it's Moro?
I don't think it'll be Moro. I feel like... I thought about this as well. King, I don't know if you read the manga for Dragon Ball Super. Okay, so without spoiling too much, I don't think it'll be Moro because the anime adapts the arcs differently to the manga. Not majorly different, but
completely differently. It does nothing the same.
Yeah, but what I mean is the start and the end is basically relatively the same. It's the events within the middle. But I feel like they'll save that for an actual, because I think what my prediction is, this will be a movie, right? And then there'll be a series, kind of like what they did with Battle of Gods, Resurrection of Frieza, and then they started the series. The series, ideally, would start from the Moro arc, because the manga never had the Broly arc. The manga did Tournament of Power, then it went into the Moro arc. So I can see the anime coming after the movie. It could be Moro, but I feel like they'd rather save that for an anime, for an actual series.
Because the timeline is kind of wonky. It's the anime Dragon Ball Super. Then it's the movie Dragon Ball Super Broly. And then subsequently, we're assuming that it'll be the sequel movie that is after the movie.
Yeah, it should be anyway. The other thing it could be is a movie based on Oob. Because remember, we've seen Oob. And I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind it being Oob.
I don't think
that'd be okay.
I don't think it sells as well, so I don't think they'd actually risk doing that.
Oob's a pretty popular
we don't
character.
know.
It's Toei, bro. It's Toei. If it don't make them money, you best believe they're not gonna.
It's Toei, but it's also Toriyama, and Toriyama knows that Oob is popular. Uber's
Sure,
always been popular.
I agree with you that Toriyama knows, but at the end of the day, he has like 50% of the say, and so does the studio. And if he wants to make it a manga, then it's 50% him and 50% the actual manga company. So in this case, it would be Suisha or whatever their name is.
Situation.
I don't know. I don't know. Oob, wow, it seems like a good fit for a movie. I don't think. I mean, unless he's like one of the secondary characters, but if this movie revolved around him, I don't think Toei would approve, solely because Toei's in the industry to make money, and I don't think Oob would make him the most money. I also think that
You're not wrong. Yeah.
this movie comes out during the Olympics, right? Like the year of the Olympics.
It comes out in 2022, but we don't know when.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't say when. It just says 2022.
Well, hopefully there's more news so we could talk about it because that's kind of interesting. If it's it could be a movie about Vegeta for all we know. And boy needs that respect. Boy needs that respect. But yeah. Is there any other news?
Other than that, no, not really. There's Overlord season 4. If either of you care about
that. Not particularly.
I haven't seen it, so.
I did start watching this anime called Yasuke. I don't know if you guys have read about it. Have you?
Oh, it's on.
It is on Netflix.
Is that the futuristic one of mechs? Samurai dude.
Yeah, basically in history. Yeah.
Bad things.
Let me explain. I've only seen 2 episodes.
Okay.
Let me explain what happened. Basically, in history, there was a guy named Yasuke. He was like the very first black samurai. He was taken from like an African tribe by Portuguese, like, merchants and missionaries, and taken to Japan. And Oda Nobunaga, the famous feudal lord, really he liked him because obviously he's very different from Japanese. So he took him as a retainer and made him a swordsman. First one ever. And then years later, Oda Nobunaga got betrayed or whatever, and he had to kill himself. And Yasuke basically disappeared, reappeared, and was supposedly captured, and then no one ever heard about him again. The series is set like with those events as like flashbacks, and then it's like 20 years later or whatever. Like, this is the current Yasuke, this is what he's up to. And I would agree with the general criticism. Like, I don't know why, like, there are like, it's like an alternate universe history where there's like in ancient Japan, like 1579, there's like mechs and lasers and all this other whack shit. And it's like, this is just, and like magic and like the Catholic Church is involved. And it's like, this is just so unnecessary in my opinion. And I would agree with that stuff. Like, I don't know, like the production value is good. I mean, it has nice animation, nice music, I guess. Voice acting, like, I don't know, like I'm very 50-50 on it. Neither the Japanese nor the English is particularly good, and I think it's partly because a lot of the people are very new to voice acting for the most part. Some of them are experienced, but that's beside the point. So I don't know, like I'm probably just gonna watch it because it's short. It's like 6 episodes, but yeah, it's not like it could have been much better than it was. But I'll reserve full judgment until I've watched the other remaining episodes, which I'll probably talk about next time on the podcast.
All right.
Yeah, all right. I'd be looking forward to hear because I've only heard bad things in terms of the plot wise, like the fact that it's history mixed with mechs and shit. But
if you want mechs, bro, just watch Starling and the Franks.
No, if you want mechs, all right, just go with Code Geass.
Exactly. I was about to say Code Geass.
Correct answer is Gundam, but
not quite.
I haven't
though.
seen that yet. I'm gonna watch IBO.
Iron-Blooded Orphan. IBO.
I'm not against Gundam. I'm just saying, like, if you want mechs with the like more human element, Code Geass is better than any Gundam series. I mean, we can debate that on a different podcast.
That'll be a different. But yeah, we got the Marvel stuff to talk about this time. So yeah, okay. So there's a lot of Marvel news. King, start us off.
Do we have any specific thing we want to start off, or I'll just give a general overview for those. Yeah. So basically, because Marvel is obviously currently behind schedule when it comes to movies due to COVID-19. a lot of the movies that were supposed to go out in theaters last year, and I think by this point this year we would have at least had one of them. So obviously they're quite far behind as a result of COVID-19. So they've basically released a thank you kind of video. It's like, thank you for your attention, or your time or whatever, and we will see you at the movies. And they basically announced currently. Okay, let's call them tentative now because I still fully expect at least one of them to change at some point or another. The current release dates planned for the upcoming movies. So Black Widow, the Eternals, and Shang-Chi are, and Spider-Man 2, I believe, are three Spider-Man also are currently scheduled for this year, 2021. Next year, and Spidey, correct me if I've mixed up the order because I'm just going off the top of my head, but I believe it's next year is Doctor Strange 2, or 4, and Black Panther 2, which has now been titled Wakanda Forever.
Yeah, I think you're correct.
Mm-hmm.
Then
sorry, go on.
Yeah, don't forget the Eternals. I don't know if you mentioned that.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I think I forgot that one. That's releasing this year.
Yes. So we have, if we go
Black Widow, Eternals,
Shang-Chi,
and Spider-Man 4. 3.
Correct.
3. Fuck 3. Me.
Yeah. Yes, correct. And like you said, a lot of these were pushed back because WandaVision was supposed to come out last year, and then like a week or two after, Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness was supposed to be out, but obviously that didn't happen because COVID was our friend. So then we also have, if we want to include the shows, we have Loki, the What If series, which isn't really canon. Miss Marvel.
Well, it is. Oh no, sorry. Sorry, not the What If. The What If is not, but that's alternate universe anyway, so we wouldn't expect it to be.
Correct. I mean, it could be part of the multiverse, but I doubt it. So yeah, we have Loki, Miss Marvel, Hawkeye as our show is coming out. They also announced that the Captain Marvel 2 is now known as the Marvels or something.
Oh yeah, is that one coming out next year?
That is coming out next year in November. If I'm
okay, that's the one I missed then.
Yeah, and then Thor, and then next year the shows for Moon Knight and She-Hulk are coming out, so that's gonna be interesting. But yeah,
those are going to be TV shows though, and they were not discussed.
Correct. Yeah, they also teased the Fantastic Four, which is interesting. So yeah,
well, we already knew about that one because of the December investors meeting. Let me look at the list of all upcoming Marvel movies. I want to check like the specific release dates because I know I had a problem with at least one of them.
All right. Well, I got it. I got the list in front. So we have for June we have Loki. July we have Black Widow, but I think Black Widow was moved to May. They didn't give an exact date for What If, but that's the summer. Shang-Chi comes out in September.
Right, that's first, and then Eternals is coming out.
Eternals in November, and again, this is rumor, but apparently there's already an Eternals 2 in pre-production.
I mean, the movie has to have been finished by now.
Yeah, I don't doubt it's only because the director is the Academy Award winning, or the Oscar winning.
Same thing.
Yeah, same. Yeah, you got okay. Yeah, you're right. But some people get out there. So
fair enough.
She's pretty legit, and Marvel likes tying down their directors that are good. Look at what they did with the Russo brothers. So I don't think that's a false rumor. And then there's all those other movies, like I said. Dev, out of all these things that we've announced, or that Marvel has announced that we just repeated, which is the most interesting to you?
The most interesting one is going to be Black Panther, because I am very intrigued by what they're going to do with the entire... Because they said that it's not going to be... If I remember correctly, I read somewhere that the film's not going to be based on Black Panther, the hero, anymore.
Well,
Correct.
yeah. How could it be?
That's what I'm saying, because they're not gonna. Yeah, they're not gonna CGI or anything in it. So
Correct.
it's not going to be based on just Black Panther as a hero. So I'm intrigued to see what they do instead. So as we saw in Falcon and Winter Soldier, right, we had the what was her name?
Flag Smashers.
No, the
Sharon Carter.
No, the mullet. The Dore Molage.
Io.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the group. We had the group turn up, right?
Right. Yes, we did.
So they're already, utilizing other aspects of the Black Panther universe or world,
like Wakanda in their
the Wakandan
stuff.
lore. So I wonder just exactly what they're going to do for the film. Do we know anything, or do we not really know too much yet?
Nothing.
That we only know that they're not gonna recast Chadwick in any capacity. That the movie's gonna focus on Wakanda as a whole, and that it's gonna be like a love letter to the work that Chadwick did as a Black Panther.
Okay, so we don't actually know anything that's really coming. All right,
Correct.
That's fair. So that's what I'm finding the most interesting, purely out of the fact I want to see what they do instead of it being a superhero-based movie. The other ones that I want to see the most, I'm excited for Loki because the dude's a little clown. Eternals. We talked about it a bit in the server. I'm a little bit intrigued about the Eternals and what they're all about because I'd never actually really heard of them.
To be fair, they're not like a huge Marvel property, so it's pretty understanding that you haven't.
Yeah. And then this what if thing.
What if Peggy Carter was Captain America? What if there was zombies, stuff like that? That's what's
I'm a very big fan of what ifs, which is why I like Dragon Ball Heroes and also Fate Grand Order. Because I like the exploration of this kind of stuff where, what if this, as long as it's obviously within good reason, not just some random stupid shit. The other thing is Doctor Strange. I like Doctor Strange. I like the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And Thor is the other one because if Thor Love and Thunder is as funny as what Ragnarok was.
Taika Waititi is back and directing, and it's kind of interesting that Chris Hemsworth decided to re-up his contract the moment Taika Waititi decided to come in and direct.
Yeah.
So they have apparently from everything we've seen, they work really well together as director actor duo. So yeah. King, what about you? What are you most excited for?
Dude, honestly, I'm excited for most of this stuff. I will say, I'll get to one of my problems first, just to get it out of the way. March 25th, 2022 is the release date of Doctor Strange: Multiverse of Madness, and May 6th, 2022 is the release date of Thor 4: Love and Thunder. In my opinion, that's just too little time in between. That's barely 6 weeks. Maybe I think it's exactly 6 weeks. And to me, it's these are probably the two biggest movies in the phase. I feel like they should have a lot more time in between each other because we don't know where Black Panther. Oh, sorry, we do know where Black Panther is, but I don't know. I feel like they should have pushed it ahead a little bit more. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of smushing big movie release dates together, and it's if you're two different companies, you can't really avoid it because it happens. But this is the same company; they know what they're doing, and these are not two movies that seem to have much plot interaction because obviously Thor and the Guardians and Loki will be their own thing for the most part. I don't expect Doctor Strange to have any significance to the plot. At most, Loki might, but that's a big if. So, I don't know. That's something where I'd be I think they should delay Thor 4 a little bit more by maybe another month, push over, Black Panther 2, maybe if they have to, and then delay Captain Marvel 2 or the Marvels as it's being called a couple of weeks, just to give people more time to digest. Because you really don't want to bombard people with too much
Mhm.
content. Like I
Well, I mean,
know
they-
like you
I'm
do,
sorry.
but like not you don't want to like do it too fast because you have
Yeah,
to let it sink in.
yeah. And to further your point, within 7 months they're releasing 4 movies. In
Mhm.
November you got Eternals, and in December you got Spider-Man. Then 3 months later you got Doctor Strange. Then a little over
Month and a half
is the Thor.
or
So
4.
it's interesting.
Yeah. I don't know what they wanted to achieve necessarily with this release schedule, but there's nothing we can do about it.
I
I'm gonna,
mean,
of course, yeah, like of course not, but
they're
like
they're
we'll
gonna
see.
make
I'm
bank.
still gonna watch it. But here's the thing: like I don't know if they need to do this to make bank because people would watch these movies anyway.
Oh no!
Like
Most definitely, they're gonna be $1 billion movies for sure. I guarantee it.
100%.
But yeah, you're right. It's like space it out a bit more. Give them chance. Like I understand. If Eternals and Spider-Man, I kind of get because Eternals is
Yeah,
more cosmic and outer space shit, whereas Spider-Man
yeah.
is Earth and all that. So that's fine. But then 3 months later, you have Doctor Strange and Thor, which is basically again, yeah, they're different concepts, but you got to give them a bit more breathing room at
And
least.
they're big like scale movies because these are like big Avengers characters. Like the Eternals, like that's more like a Guardians of the Galaxy thing that no one knows about, and I'm sure it'll be good. But
Yeah,
like you're building your own thing there, whereas like Spider-Man is an established thing, and now obviously Thor is a very established thing, and Doctor Strange for the most part you could say is decently established, just not to the same extent, but close enough.
correct. Yeah. So it's interesting. I'm interested to see what their game plan is. And maybe they're just trying to go get through the phase a lot faster. Who knows?
I don't
Uh,
know why they'd want to do that. Like the more they stretch it out, the more people are ready to go. It's not like there's a lack of time.
and
They're
then
gonna make the money.
they still have the mutants that they tease but haven't mentioned anything about. They have a lot of
Some
shit.
people are saying that'll actually be like a Black Panther Wakanda Forever thing, because obviously everyone has been pointing at that when they talked about the earthquake in Endgame. People are like, oh, Namor, because he rules Atlantis and he's the first Marvel mutant as per publication date. And they're like, well, maybe that will open the door. And I'm like, possibly yes, but we don't yet know.
Yeah, it's fascinating. I'm interested. The one I'm interested the most on is first of all, I love the title for Black Panther Wakanda Forever. It's a nice little nod to the whole,
To his phrase.
Mm-hmm. I'm interested in that. I don't know how they're gonna properly, transition to another Black Panther. But Marvel doesn't when with certain characters they haven't fiddled. I don't feel they have. So I have faith that they will do their best to especially because it's Ryan Coogler, and Ryan Coogler is all about Chadwick Boseman, Michael B. Jordan, and all them because he's worked with them a lot. So I have faith that it'll be good. The other one that interests me is the Marvels, solely because we know we're gonna have Captain Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna
We're gonna
have
have Monica Rambeau. We're gonna have Miss Marvel after she gets her TV show.
So I'm interested to see how they're building that. I hope that the dialogue isn't as dry and wooden as the first Captain Marvel was. I get that people don't like her as a character, but I feel like she could be a good character if they gave her lines. They don't give her that many like interesting lines. And I'm interested in isn't Henry Cavill coming out in the Marvels as well?
He is? I didn't read that.
I think I'm not sure. I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong. I'm interested to see what. Oh my god! Hold on, because DC recently essentially fired Henry Cavill.
Why?
They got a new Superman.
No, that Black Superman thing is like an alternate universe.
No. He's the new Superman.
No, he ain't.
No, I'm telling you, there's a new Superman. He's not gonna be Clark Kent, but he's gonna be the new Superman. They made a huge deal out of it because Henry Cavill began unfollowing all their social medias and all that stuff. So, Yeah, Michael B. Jordan is gonna be it. I think. I know they announced it. Give me a second.
I'm gonna Google this.
Marvel. Yeah, and the best part is they announced it on his birthday. Oh yeah, so okay now. So they he's in talks to be in a movie, but there's no confirmation that he's gonna be in it. I guarantee you now that Warner Brothers did that, he probably will be going to them. So there's so many things he could be in it. He could be Wolverine. He could be Captain Britain. I think somebody mentioned, or just some
Did you
other
just say
character.
Captain Britain?
That's actually a thing.
That's actually a thing. Dab's like, I'm about to Google this shit.
Captain Britain.
But yeah, I'm interested in that. I'm kind of okay if the rumors end up being. I'm sorry, I jumped off. If the rumors end up being true about the multiverse of madness, then I'm intrigued in it. And the rumors being that it is very Spider-Man oriented, along with like Wanda oriented. So if that ends up being true, then I'm intrigued.
Okay, so sorry. What I'm seeing is that they announced the reboot, but not explicitly that Henry Cavill has been fired.
Okay, I mean, if you're rebooting something, you're getting rid of the old.
Well, not necessarily. They're not saying reboot, but like it could also be like the alternate universe stuff, because they're not going to reboot Wonder Woman at this point because Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman and even Shazam has been like, and you can probably even argue for Aquaman. Like these are all people like characters that are established. So it'd be weird if suddenly they start doing a new Justice League movie and suddenly Superman's black. Like what would that be?
I mean, they do have, and this is I get we're talking DC right now. They do have Flashpoint coming, and
True, yeah.
that's how they're gonna get rid of Ben Affleck's Batman, which I think is a stupid decision.
I agree.
And
he wanted to go.
He wanted to go because he didn't like what Joss Whedon was doing, and you guys could look at all the reports, and Gal Gadot and Ray Fisher confirmed it, and even what's his name, Aquaman himself confirmed it. So Ben Affleck didn't like any of that. I look. I don't know what Warner Brothers is doing. They're being stupid.
I don't know. Like I'm reading. There seems to be a lot of contradictory information too, and I don't know. This is confusing. Anyways, let's just leave the Superman stuff aside and go back to the Marvel stuff. And I believe Dav had something that he told us he wanted to talk about.
Yeah, Dav. What was it, Dav?
Finally got around to watching Into the Spider-Verse. Every single time I wanted to watch it, I would start it and then something would come out. I never ever had a chance to sit down and watch it. So I finally got to watch it. And I gotta say, the entire experience of me watching it was great. I enjoyed every aspect of it. I was always a fan of... So my first was of Miles Morales was... what's the game? Spider-Man PS4, where we had that little bit of him. That entire... I was like, oh, I like that. And I heard of him before, obviously. So when I watched the film, everything about it was great. The pacing, the comedy, the art style, the animation. It was all really fun. And it actually quickly became like in my top 10 movies. And I loved how the whole... they did like it was like a comic book. Because it wasn't one of the suits like a comic book suit. Wasn't that the original design? If I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
And the divorce. So I read some of that. This is before I watched the movie. Peter and Mary Jane's divorce was a reference to Raimi's Spider-Man 4 script. I don't know how accurate that is. But I read about that just before I was watching it because I was waiting on other people to join. And the more and more stuff that I heard and spoke about it, and then all the other Spider-Men were introduced. You know, you had Spider-Girl, fucking Old Man Spider-Man, and then we had Miles Morales. Who else did we have? I can't remember now.
We had Penny Parker, we had Spider-Man Noir, we had
Spider-Ham.
Spider-Ham, correct. We had Peter B. Parker, which is Spider-Man of the 616 universe, I think, or whatever universe.
I don't know. They haven't explicitly labeled his number.
Fair.
seeing all of those come together.
We had Spider-Gwen.
Yeah, it was really nice seeing all of those come together, and it got me more interested in the Marvelverse. And I'm excited because there's a second one coming, right?
Yes, next year. Next year the second one comes out. It's gonna be May. I want to say. I don't know the exact date off the top of my head, but it's sometime next year.
Same.
So I was really.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Did you see the post-credit scene?
Remind me of what it was.
It's the Spider-Man meme. It's literally the Spider-Man meme.
Oh yeah, I did.
Okay.
I enjoyed so much about the film, comedy aspect wise, because a lot of it was actually the film. The film knew what it was doing, and it knew what it was good at, and it excelled at those stuff. It didn't try to be what it wasn't, which was great. It didn't try to be this massive superhero, like save, an entire focus on that. It was a focus on Miles and his own growth, which was really nice, and it felt really well paced. I don't know what it's like in the comics, but I think Into the Spider-Verse was such a nice introduction, especially for someone who's not, like I said, not massively into Marvel. And I'm excited for the next one, and I'm excited for more of the Marvel universe.
Well, that's the Sony universe, not Marvel. Because Marvel doesn't know how to do Spider-Man right. Sony does. Anyway.
Just been like...
Just had to throw that in there. Any moments that you enjoyed the most?
The scene where he jumped off the building and there's
the danger, that danger song.
Yeah, and he's free falling and he got the whole city. That I quickly screenshotted that and I saved that. That whole sequence was just so good. And also, I don't know if I read this right, but apparently as the film went on, right, from start to end, the FPS got better, as in, because it goes from over the years.
Yes.
That was one of the most incredible, mind-blowing things I read about it afterwards I watched it. Because then when I went and rewatched a few scenes, you could see, I mean, obviously it's minuscule differences, but you can see it. And the fact that they did that just shows how much care went into it and how much love there is for the franchise. So I'm very excited for the next one, and I'm hoping they do a similar thing. But obviously, there's no guarantee with the FPS situation.
I don't know if you want to talk about this king a little bit as well. The thing they did very well is they literally brought a comic book to life with the kapow, the boom, the pow, and it only starts doing that once he grows more and more into his powers, right? Like when he's talking out loud in his head and he's like, wait, why could I hear my own thoughts and stuff like that? So they really went out of their way to showcase how like great an animated movie could actually be, and I think that's why it was very successful. And then again, it gave a different ethnic background other than a Caucasian male to realize that they could be Spider-Man. And I know you didn't mention it, but I'm sure you saw it and liked it. The Stan Lee cameo, where anybody could be Spider-Man. And then the little joke
that was
at the
always
end.
like an idea behind Spider-Man, and I think maybe that's why Stan Lee. I don't know if he said in an interview, but he said about some Spider-Man movie that it was one of his favorites.
Yeah, because Stanley always talked about how he wanted Spider-Man to be this regular guy that anybody could strive to be. Yeah. So yeah, it was really good. What did you think of the villains? Because there's a couple of them.
I liked him over. See, the story in, like I said, the story with the whole Into the Spider-Verse for me, it was nice because it was a focus on Miles Morales himself. It wasn't the main aim wasn't a big superhero save the world kind of thing. Obviously, that did end up becoming the plot, but the main focus was on Miles Morales and creating his Spider-Man. Kingpin looked great. I love this design. My boy Wilson Fisk. I've always liked Kingpin. And then the other one was called the Prowler.
We have a couple, yeah. So we have the Prowler. We had the Green Goblin in the beginning of the movie where he fights Spider-Man, the original Spider-Man, Chris Pine Spider-Man.
Scorpion and Tombstone were in there. I recognize them. I remember them.
Correct. And then we have Olivia Octavius, aka Doc Ock.
I think all the villains were nice. I really enjoyed the Green Goblin. Green Goblin's always been one of my favorites in Spider-Man. And I didn't expect Spider-Man to actually get completely fucked up.
Oh, he died. Yeah,
I didn't expect that. I didn't expect him to get completely fucking obliterated.
I think
somehow I'd avoided that spoiler. I guess I don't know how. In the 2 years that the film's been out, or 3 years, I'd never heard that happen in the story. I don't know how.
That's basically Miles' origin story. They obviously changed a few things, but his origin story is basically he looked up to Spider-Man. Tell me if this sounds familiar. He looks up to Spider-Man. He sees his favorite hero die, so he tries to take up the mantle. And he has an Asian best friend named Ned.
That is accurate.
So, it's basically that. Obviously, they expanded it. They did build up. I feel like they did a little better job of building up his family aspect and his Hispanic or Puerto Rican, if you will, Puerto Rican roots, along with his black roots, his African roots. So I thought that was very nice.
That's Spanish.
Yes, he speaks it. He in the movie he spoke it not that well, but it kind of makes sense that he didn't speak it that well because
he's in New York.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's not his first language.
Yeah, and that too.
That also.
I actually, so slightly controversial topic. It comes up last. You see it weekly, right? There's always a whole lot of thing. Oh, why is there so much focus on X, Y, and Z culture or color when people of color are a main character? But we saw it with Black Panther. Black Panther came out, and everyone who was a person of color was really excited because there was finally a massive, large box office.
Dude fucked people up. Yeah, he fucked people up.
Who was black. But then you get the. I'll put it down to it's a vocal minority, but then it's still a painful thing to fucking have to hear all the time. You turn around and say, if we got so excited over a white guy, it's like, shut up, man. It was so nice to start seeing more and more roots and culture actually being explored. So with Black Panther and Wakanda, the whole African thing, and then Into the Spider-Verse, like you said, they actually started exploring his roots and they actually used it. So obviously they didn't use it, to like in your face.
The best part. I'm sorry. I love you, man. When he tells, so at the beginning of the movie, his dad tells him, "I love you, Miles," and he's like, "Tell me back."
Oh, in the police car.
Yeah, and then at the end of the movie, where he's on the suit, and he's like, "I love you, bro," and then he's like, "Peace," and then he leaves, and his dad's like, "What the fuck? Who the fuck is this who tells me he loves me?" I just sorry when you said that. My bad, bro. Continue with your.
That's all good.
It was such a nice way that they did it because it wasn't. They did it it was subtle, but it wasn't in your face, which I think is even better because if they don't put it in your face.
I agree, it is better. It's supposed to be like subtle and not in your face because that's how people's lives are. People's lives, despite what Twitter would want you to believe, are not, or they should not be, dictated by your skin color. That's such a minor thing.
Exactly.
It's so stupid the way some of these people react.
It was done so well. It was so subtle. Yeah. It was there, and you always knew that's what they were referring to, and it was great. And it sticks with you because it was always a nice little add-on to it, and it wasn't the primary focus, which is great. And I hope that continues. I hope with the whole, especially Miles Morales storyline, I hope that they don't lose that effectiveness.
I don't think they will. They clearly enjoy it, and even Marvel's going to do it. Like that's why they've got Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings coming up, and that's obviously very East Asian, like Chinese particularly, but they'll probably have a little bit of mix, and it'll be like in that case, it probably will be more cultural, but like historic, and it's just better that way. And you do it subtly and not be a big like virtue signal.
And then, just to go off your point regarding Black Panther and Miles, their culture is literally embedded in their character. Like their character and their culture, like intertwined, if you will. Miles is very proud of the fact that he is the quote unquote the east side of New York's Harlem Spider-Man. He's very proud of that fact. He's proud of the fact that he's Puerto Rican and he's his dad is black. Black Panther is obviously very proud of the fact that he's an African Wakanda badass.
King.
Exactly, king. So these characters, their culture and their race is like a part of what makes them them. Like Superman, he could be whatever color because it doesn't matter because the fact that he's white doesn't make him Superman. It's just the
Right.
fact that he's got
Right.
So
I don't disagree with that. I'm saying like with the way that the movies did it,
oh no
there's a
yeah
difference
yeah yeah
between like this is an
no that
important aspect of the character versus like this is what we're going to talk about all the time, every time, and if you
Yeah.
no
disagree with me,
absolutely
you're a bigot or whatever.
no absolutely. But I was going more off of the point that a dad was making about people saying that how if they had a white character and the character did they showed his culture they'd be like mad, but it's like it depends more
Well,
on
it depends, like, because like it'd be like weird to just be like broadly white in the same way. It'd be weird to just be broadly whatever. But like if it was like a specific, like Kyle Rayner, the Green Lantern, is like specifically
yes.
Jewish, and that's like important to
Mhm.
his character because of like how he
Correct.
grew up and stuff.
Yeah.
So, and obviously, if a character were like Irish or Italian, like that's a different thing, So you have to. I guess like you could probably argue because of like American assimilation, the white aspect has to be a little bit more national necessarily than any like specific color thing.
hmm Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. We all agree though. It's probably one of the better Spider-Man. No, it's not better. It is the best Spider-Man movie out there.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
And Peter B. Parker, Jake Johnson, God tier.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see him live action, just because I want to see how he actually looks live action.
I wouldn't want to see that. I'm going to be honest. I like Jake Johnson as an actor, but the dude's not exactly in the best shape.
Chris Pratt was not in the best shape either.
What?
And look how
First of all, Chris Pratt is in very good shape. What are you talking about?
No. What I said was when he was in Parks and Rec, he was not in very good shape.
But his character in Parks and Rec didn't need to be in good shape. He had to get in shape for Guardians of the Galaxy, and then he got in shape.
Exactly, but he was filming Parks and Rec, the end of Parks and Rec, when he started filming Guardians of the Galaxy. Which basically what I'm saying,
he was fat at the end of one season, and he got skinny later on. And his character was like, "Oh, how did you lose all the weight?" He's like, "Oh, I just stopped drinking beer." He's like, "How much fucking beer were you drinking?"
Exactly. No, yeah. But what I'm trying to say is like, if he works out, it could work out. It's better than what we have right now in Tom Holland. Anyway,
that's debatable, man. Tom Holland is phenomenal with the acting, like, and also the physical aspect.
Let's get into it now. Then let's talk about Spider-Man.
Tom Holland is a good actor, but I don't like his version of Spider-Man.
We're gonna talk about Tom Holland. We're gonna talk about Marvel Cinematic Universe Spider-Man, and then the third movie that's called No Way Home or something Home.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Okay. King, since you no, Dev, out of how many Spider-Man movies have you seen?
I've actually seen them all.
Okay.
But they're all the older ones I saw a while ago, like growing up.
No problem. Now, let's start off easy. Which one is your favorite Spider-Man and why?
I just want to bring up the list.
We have Tom Holland, we have Andrew Garfield, and we have Tobey Maguire. We're not gonna go with the Japanese Spider-Man.
Andrew Garfield is the Amazing Spider-Man, right?
Correct.
That's the one I like. I like the Amazing Spider-Man.
Why is that?
I'm kind of going off of memory here.
Okay.
It's okay. It's been a while since I saw it too, but I just remember it, and that's my answer for the record.
So, from what I'll be completely honest with you, I can't fully remember why I prefer it. Just looking them up again.
Okay, well, I'll give you a chance. While you look it up, King, can you just explain why? Who's your favorite Spider-Man and why? Out of the three live
yeah,
action
like
ones.
mine was Andrew Garfield as well. I thought like I didn't necessarily hate Tobey Maguire per se, but I always thought he was just kind of bland in the role. He was fine for like Peter Parker, but even then, like his Peter Parker is the very 1960s impression of a nerd stereotype, and they brought that into like 2002, and then it was like, okay, 2001. He has like maybe you could like get away with this, but for the most 2002, fuck yeah. But yeah, it's like it's very situational that it was good and it was kind of running the end of its time. Like if I saw a nerd character like that in a movie today, I'd be just like, dude, what the hell are you doing? This is like so old. Like I'm sure people like that still exist, no argument, but it's not as much of a stereotype these days as it used to be. So I just thought like his Peter Parker was good, but it was like it was reaching the end of its lifetime value. Whereas like for me, like Andrew Garfield's Peter Parker is more of like a hipster dude. He's just an everyday guy. So like I was okay with it, but I wasn't impressed. But his Spider-Man was just like legitimately funny. Like that first scene where he comes out wearing the costume, taking down the guy in the parking lot, like webbing up his crotch and stuff. Like, okay, like this is funny. Like this is something a young Spider-Man would do. Like you can argue that it's a little bit juvenile, but it's like, okay, he's literally a teenager in this scene. He's not the 25-year-old Spider-Man from like the comics who makes bad decisions. So I just like this is a good Spider-Man. This is what Spider-Man early in his career would be. He's not a total goody two shoes. He's still learning, and this is why he does what he does. It's better motivation for him to be Spider-Man per se compared to the Tobey Maguire movies, and he's just a more interesting guy to watch. And in general, like I don't know if you agree with this part, but I still think that the special effects of those movies hold up. Like it looks probably better than Tom Holland swinging around.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Go, Dev. Go.
I remembered why I didn't like Tobey Maguire. Right. More so, why I liked Amazing Spider-Man instead is I felt like Tobey Maguire. First of all, the dude looks like a virgin. I'm just gonna put it that way. just the way he looks. No, that's a bad thing. It's just, and I felt like the Spider-Man then was a lot more, just not. Because to me, Spider-Man's actual personality, bear in mind, obviously, I haven't read the comics. I feel like Spider-Man would be a bit like quite a confident person in a sense once he got his powers. But he's always been a nerd. Didn't the Andrew Garfield films focus more on his science-loving aspect? Because I remember that being quite a big thing.
Let me say it like this: they talk about it more in the Tobey Maguire movies, but he does more in the Andrew Garfield movies when it comes to science.
It's
my
basically
interpretation.
Basically, it's actions over words or words over action, whichever you prefer. You like words
like in
over
the first
action?
movie, you can see him like going all out with computers. He's got an automatic lock on his door that works based on how his laptop is. He's testing his own web shooters and stuff like that. Whereas like in the first Spider-Man movie, he's like, "Oh, I know this about spiders. I know this about microscopes. I'm in the chess club and blah blah blah." Like
yeah,
that.
see, I preferred the actual actions. I preferred him learning and actually utilizing his brains. Which is what I liked. Tom Holland, other than I enjoy Tom Holland as Spider-Man, but
he has not shown that he's smart.
Yeah, and at the same time, to put it in the words of Spidey, he's just an Iron Man simp. His entire existence is Iron Man. I have daddy issues. You're not my dad. What do? Oh, hi, Spider-Man. I have a suit for you. Now the suit does everything for you, so you don't have to do anything. I feel like Spider-Man, the older Spider-Man, whether it was Tobey or Andrew, they would be the ones to create the suit or have some kind of rather than Iron Man just been like, "Hey, kid,
here's everything you need."
Yeah, I feel like Spider-Man's been kind of put down to this. I'm not gonna say he's put down to a secondary character because he's still obviously a main person within MCU, but
I'd say at that time he probably was like a secondary character, and now he's moving to main character
but
status.
I still feel like he's always gonna be that. He's never gonna be such a.
He's never gonna get out of that shadow.
Yeah, and isn't Spider-Man meant to be like Super Wedge? Isn't Spider-Man meant to be able to lift like 10 times his own weight?
Something.
Yes.
I think it's like 10 tons, like literally.
10 tons.
Yeah.
Yeah. Spider-Man is sorry I interrupted.
No
Spider-Man
worries.
is one of the stronger characters in the Marvel universe.
Among like
Right.
the non-cosmics.
Yeah, yeah, among the non-gods and all that, he's one of the stronger characters. In Superior Spider-Man, which is basically it's a comic run, a Doc Ock takes over Spider-Man's body and he punches Scorpion, and he barely like swings, right? But he like literally rips Scorpion's jaw off. And that's when Doc Ock literally realized that his entire existence, Spider-Man could have killed him within the fucking stab of a finger, but he didn't because he would always hold back.
Mhm.
So,
Have they-
Morality.
Have they portrayed that strength for Tom Holland?
they only portrayed
To a small extent.
yeah,
Like-
to a small extent in Civil War, I would say, when he was fighting
Captain
what-
America.
Captain America and Bucky when Bucky was gonna punch him, and he's like, "Oh, cool, I'm at her arm." But
And
other
also when
than
he was like holding up that big trailer thing that nearly fell on him.
true.
I would say that one of the other things we should note is probably that, you know, Spider-Man is getting stronger over time. This one is literally a 6-month fresh in at that time. So, and I think Homecoming literally takes place like a month or two after Civil War. So there hasn't really been much time for him to develop the greater extent of his powers.
I thought I thought Civil War mentioned that he had been Spider-Man for a while now. He just didn't.
I thought it was 6 months. Maybe I'd probably have to rewatch the scene to know, but I don't think it had been that long. He's still freshly like 15, a high school freshman. And even in the Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire movies, the character is at least 18 because he's a senior in those movies.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think
Makes
both
sense.
those actors were also like 22 at the time, but then they're also taller than Tom Holland. He's actually kind of a shrimp.
True. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, that was a weird transition. Yeah. I don't. The Okay. How do I word it? Tom Holland Spider-Man has had more screen time, more movies, but he's shown less Spider-Man traits. That's my issue with
Well,
Tom
I mean,
Holland.
to be fair, he's had more than like Andrew Garfield has. He hasn't necessarily had more than Tobey Maguire because his role in Civil War and Infinity War were both like
And
at
Endgame.
best like Endgame he was there for like 5 minutes.
But I mean, okay, that's fair. That's fine. Okay, yeah.
At best, you
a
could argue that
technicality.
like Infinity War plus Civil War equals like close to one Tobey Maguire movie, but even then, it's kind of tenuous.
Because I was
Like
kind of
at the same time, he's not a main character in those for the most part.
yeah, that's fair. Yeah, because I was more so combining Infinity War, Endgame, and Civil War. I was like,
If you combine all three of those, then maybe you could make like the equivalent of like screen time for one Spider-Man movie. But even then, it's still iffy.
yeah. Again, it's kind of like semantics at this point.
Yeah, I guess.
But yeah, I've never. So this is my obviously for me, Andrew Garfield's the greatest interpretation of the Spider-Man. Yes, his origin story is based on the Ultimates version,
Mhm.
but
It's okay.
I don't. It's fine. I appreciate the fucking fact that they didn't go the whole Uncle Ben telling him, "You son, great power, great responsibility." They waited till the end of the movie, kind of like in his first issue, Amazing Fantasy 15, where you have the narrator talking about how
Mhm.
he learned that with greatest power comes the greatest responsibility. It wasn't his goddamn uncle, because in the fucking first issue, it wasn't his uncle. So I love that. I love the evolution of him as a character as well, because throughout the movie he's like obsessed with revenge. Like, I gotta get revenge on this fucking guy who killed my uncle. I gotta get revenge. I gotta do this. I gotta do that.
Yeah, I
And
will say that's one thing about the movie that I didn't initially understand why he stopped chasing the guy around, but then I realized it was probably because the captain scared him off during that dinner scene. Like, not explicitly with the threat of like arresting Spider-Man, but more like, maybe this isn't the right thing to do.
yeah,
It's not very obvious. They probably could have like done that
they
a little bit
they could have,
clearer.
yeah, definitely they could
Broadly
have.
speaking, I think that was the intention.
Yeah, and I feel like that message with his that he heard from his uncle, the voicemail, he kind of realized that it's probably best to just let it all go.
Yeah. Speaking of letting things go, shall we let the podcast go and let our listeners get back to their daily scheduled lives?
Before we do that, Far From or No Way Home. Did you guys? Oh, first off, before because we were gushing about Andrew Garfield. Did you guys see the interview he had, where when they asked him if he was playing Spider-Man again, he like sounded flustered.
He basically said that he hasn't been called. To be fair, like, we hear this from Marvel actors a lot. Like, they deny being in movies up until like Kevin Feige or some official person like straight up announces them. The same thing happened with that actress who was hired to play She-Hulk in the TV series. People said she was doing it, and then she was like, "Oh no, I'm not in this TV series." And then during the Disney investors meeting, Kevin Feige was like, "I can now officially confirm that what's her face, Tatiana Maslany from Orphan Black or whatever, is going to be playing Jennifer Walters, aka She-Hulk, in the She-Hulk Disney Plus TV series." So while I would say, like, I get where Andrew Garfield's intention is coming from, I think he, at best, is trying to manipulate us. It could still be the case that he's telling the truth, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's trying to pull one over on us.
Because when he first answered it, he was all flushed and he was like, "Wait, what?" And then like the interview got like disconnected because they were like video chatting. And then they asked it again, and he was like, "Oh no, I haven't gotten a phone call."
Yeah, so it could very well be the case that like that the whole thing was like they planned it out, they scripted it.
Hopefully not. Hopefully that was his genuine reaction because he was flustered because he didn't know how to answer because he didn't want to bust the Tom Holland and just like leak everything.
That Kevin Feige or whoever hadn't told him this is what you're allowed to say, this is what you're not allowed to say, or something to that effect. So maybe they cut the interview. He called Kevin Feige. He was like, "Hey, what am I allowed to say?" And Kevin Feige's like, "Deny, deny, deny. I'll let you know when you're allowed to talk."
Kevin Feige was like, "Do you want to be Spider-Man again? And you're gonna shut the fuck up and say nothing."
I will say, as much as I don't hate Tom Holland, I actually would have preferred that in Civil War if they'd been able to get Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. I would have.
Oh my god! You know how amazing that would have been.
Yeah,
oh my god!
And initially, that's what I thought they were going to do back in like 2015 when people were hearing about Civil War, and then it was like, oh well, in Civil War, the comic Spider-Man's big, so are they going to get Andrew Garfield because the last movie didn't do as well as they wanted? And then apparently
that was such a stupid argument because sure it didn't make $1 billion, but it still made like $800 million. So it's like, dude, it still made money. And then in the first Avengers movie, the Oscorp Tower was supposed to appear, but they couldn't come to an agreement. So Tom, ignore the fancy cars in the back trying to be cute.
Okay.
So, like, Andrew Garfield could have been in the first Avengers movie.
And or at least had a cameo at the end. Similar to the Civil War scene, but like at the end.
Because there was a fan edit. Because I don't know if you guys remember in Avengers 2, where they're, like, fighting in Sokovia, I think, in the beginning of the movie, where they're, like, all fighting together and then Cap's language. There was a little edit with Andrew Garfield Spider-Man in it, and I was like, dude, this looks so amazing.
I did not see that, but it sounds cool.
I'll look for it and send it to you. It would have been great because we could have had Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man, and then Tom Holland could have been like the kid who's looking up to Spider-Man because Spider-Man's kind of like around his age, as opposed to like this Hugh Hefner old ass motherfucker that he's looking up to. It would have been great. It would have made more sense. And if
Even
anything,
in the comics, Tony is a good 20-something years older than Spider-Man at
Mhm.
least.
Yeah, and this is what annoys me the most about the Marvel Cinematic Universe Spider-Man is his villains are no longer his villains.
They're Iron Man. They're people Iron Man pissed off basically, and Spider-Man has to clean up the mess.
Vulture and Mysterio and Shocker and the Tinker.
Shocker wasn't really someone he fought. He just kind of encountered him during that one scene.
Yeah, but they still set it up as he was friends with Vulture and they were mad at
Iron Man, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it's like there's so much.
Tony Stark more so than Iron Man.
No, yeah, Tony
yeah.
Stark. Tony Stark.
So I guess even you could even say the same about Jake Gyllenhaal's character.
Yeah, again, there's so much. I'm interested in the final Spider-Man movie. Well, I don't think it's the final, but the final of the first trilogy.
Yeah, I think I don't know if they're going to make another Spider-Man movie per se, but Spider-Man as a character will definitely be in and around the MCU, making appearances here and there, and definitely in the next Avengers movie and a Young Avengers movie whenever they make that.
And we know that Sony and Marvel have a new contract, so they're going to keep Tom Holland around. I hope. Look, I want to like Tom Holland as Spider-Man, but like you guys said, he's in Iron Man's shadow. And it's like, you guys didn't need to do that to him. Like you could have started off with the Rhino, some chump who's not really a main villain, but he's
probably not Rhino, just because we saw him at the end of Amazing Spider-Man. But this is why I think Vulture is actually a fine villain to use. Same with Mysterio, because those guys haven't appeared yet. I think Scorpion would be a good choice.
Scorpion was in the first Homecoming.
He was?
Yeah.
Oh no, yeah. Well, sorry. Well, not Scorpion, the Matt Gargan villain, but he wasn't Scorpion yet. Is what I meant.
Oh no, he wasn't Scorpion yet, but yeah.
I get what you're saying.
I meant Rhino as in a small Spider-Man villain, where they could have kept him as a Spider-Man villain instead of changing and shifting to.
Well, I mean, technically, Vulture is also a smaller Spider-Man villain. It's just that in the movie they changed his origin, which maybe they shouldn't have done.
It just, hopefully the third one is good. I'm hoping it's good.
I'm hoping like it'll be good.
I'm hoping the rumors are true. Do you guys want to hear the rumor?
Yeah.
Which one?
The one I talked about, Green Goblin.
Sure, tell us.
So basically, the rumor is that Green Goblin is the overarching villain of that movie, and that he's going to play a larger part in the MCU afterward.
Okay, so he's going to basically have himself set in stone into the MCU universe.
And he's brought in through the multiverse aspect of the universe.
I'm looking at the news feeds right now, and I do see some websites saying that they're going to have a Norman Osborn character in the No Way Home film. I don't know how credible these sources are, if I'm being quite honest with you, but I think it's not impossible.
It would make sense because they have enough for a Sinister Six, right? They have Scorpion. Who isn't really Scorpion, but he wanted to kill Spider-Man.
He'll get there.
Yeah, he wanted to kill Spider-Man at the end of Homecoming. We have Vulture, which I don't know if he's actually going to be trying to fight Spider-Man, because
I wouldn't necessarily. I wouldn't want him to be a villain, because he was clearly he's one of the better MCU villains, despite the change in his origin story. Because clearly, what he wanted to do was he was doing it for his family. I honestly think if he got the necessary amount of money, he would have retired and been like, okay, we're done. I'm going to do something else now. But
it would be weird to have somebody who knows who Spider-Man actually is fight Spider-Man without telling the rest of his crew. But,
yeah, that's true too. And those two,
we have we have the Tinker, Electro, the Tinker, because Tinker was making the weapons for Vulture and all them. We have Alfred Molina's Doc Ock, which we know is coming back because he literally mentioned it himself.
But that's another thing that I question. Is he going to be a villain? Because it said he picks up seconds after the end of Spider-Man 2. It's like, well, he was clearly redeeming himself in that moment, so why would he go back to being a bad guy?
But if we were playing into the multiverse aspect, he could be doing what Wilson Fisk did in to Dav's original point, or additional discussion. I'm sorry, in Into the Spider Verse, where Wilson Fisk is trying to bring his family back from different universes, and what if Molina's character is trying to get his family back, his wife back?
But she died.
And exactly, but if he's going to different universes and he's trying to find her, and she's dead in all of them, that could just be like driving him mad.
I don't think it'll happen, if only because the literal reason he was redeeming himself at the end of Spider-Man 2, the whole message was that to do the right thing, sometimes we have to give up what we want.
Maybe.
And it's like, well, I don't know. That seems a little bit too unrealistic for me.
I just hope the way they bring him back is good. And we also have Morbius. I don't know if Morbius is going to tie into the MCU or not.
I think it will, but not now. That's a couple years down the line at least.
Because it was pushed back to after Spider-Man.
Same with Venom 2, right?
Yes. Let me double check really quick for you, really quick. Venom 2 release.
Okay. Oh no, that's before Spider-Man.
Okay, so Venom is before Spider-Man.
Sorry, yeah.
Dude, that was gonna be good. I don't care what people. I loved the way they set up Venom. He was more Spider-Man than Tom Holland was in Spider-Man. Not that it's difficult the way they set up MCU Spider-Man, but still. Let's see, Morbius. Yeah, so Morbius is releasing January 21st. So a month after Spider-Man.
Yeah, and this Venom 2 is releasing September 2021, so about 2 months earlier.
And the thing, and I'm interested in the Morbius one because we saw the cameo of
Vulture.
Oh boy, Vulture, yeah. Obviously, we don't know if it is Vulture, but the way they set it up, basically,
yeah, it seems to be because he's wearing the same prison uniform.
Yeah, so everything's being set up interestingly. So I just hope. I kind of want, and this is a super tangent, and I don't think Dav is gonna know who this is. I kind of want Kane to be a part of the MCU. Cause I feel like he'd be like the quote unquote anti Spider-Man. And he's a clone. Kane? Not Kane from wrestling, but like Kane, like Kaine.
Yeah, his name's Garrison Kane or something.
Oh yeah.
I've heard of him. I don't know much about, but I have heard of him. I don't know about
Garrison Kane. And there's a Kane Parker, but he's
Kane Parker. He was the first clone attempt of Peter Parker. But yeah, basically
Wasn't that Ben Reilly?
Oh no, he's the first clone from Jackal. It's I'm looking at the wiki for this just because I want to refresh her, and it says the clone that would become known as Kane was the Jackal's first attempt at cloning Peter Parker. So yeah, Ben Reilly was the first, or Ben Reilly was another one, but Ben Reilly was like the hero version, and Kane was like the Jekyll, or Mr. Jekyll, and the Dr. Hyde
Dr.
version.
Jekyll
Basically.
Mr. Hyde, yeah.
So it'd be interesting. There's a lot in the Spider-Man universe that they could use, and now that Iron Man is dead, hopefully they don't fucking go, oh yeah, he was Tony pissed him off at a convention, and he's sworn enemies ever since, or whatever the fuck. They could do a Chameleon, and that could essentially, if they do Chameleon killed Peter Parker's parents. Peter Parker's parents were in S.H.I.E.L.D., so it'd be a cool little like tying up of everything, bringing them full circle. It'd be interesting.
That's interesting because from what I know is sorry to break your train of thought. But the reason I'm saying is because like what happened to my understanding of the comics is that maybe I'm confusing two different things, but basically Howard and Maria Stark were supposed to go to like Russia or whatever, and then they died, and then because of that, it was the Parkers who had to go, and then they died, right?
I think you're right. But I said damn because I was remembering. So Amazing Spider-Man and Amazing Spider-Man 2 for me are one of the greatest movies ever released. Spider-Man movies, let me clarify that, not greatest movies.
No, fair enough. That's what I thought you said. Most people are also asking for like other stuff. Sorry, I just thought, but Kraven the Hunter is something people have been.
Kraven the Hunter would be great. Kraven the Hunter would be great. But fucking be amazing. He would. There's another. Tombstone would be good.
Sure.
But in Amazing Spider-Man, at the end of there was a post-credit scene that was cut. After the first one and the second one, where his dad comes back and he's like, "I'm sorry we left you, but there's so much that I need to tell you." And I was like,
"Oh yeah, cutscene."
Oh, dude, that would have been so fucking amazing. It breaks my heart that there's never gonna be an Amazing Spider-Man 3. It just breaks my heart.
True.
One day, don't worry.
If and this is like super ridiculous optimism. If there is a multiverse Spider-Man here, where like Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire come back, I'm hoping that Sony's like, all right, you could keep MCU Tom Holland. We'll use them every now and then with some of our villains, but we're gonna set up our own Spider-Man. So we're gonna have Spider-Man 4 with Tobey Maguire and Amazing Spider-Man 3 with Andrew Garfield. I hope that happens because I hope this movie is successful, makes over $1 billion, and breaks every record imaginable. Because I want Sony to do that. Because right now I feel like Sony is too dependent on the success of Spider-Man with MCU. I feel like if they could do their own thing, and they'll be significantly better. But yeah, I think that's where we should end it, just because we've been going on for a cool bit.
Yeah, lots to talk about though, especially Loki's not far away, so.
Oh yeah, that'll be up next month.
Yeah, Loki's all about time travel and all that shit. And they already announced the season 2.
And we'll have 2 episodes to talk about every single podcast, so.
Nice. All right, King, hit us with that beautiful outro.
Absolutely. Okay, listeners, thank you very much for listening to us. Once again, I know we rambled a bit, but let's be honest, you like that anyway. You don't mind. So, thank you. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Please like the video, share it. As soon as you see it posted in the Discord by Spider-Man, just take a listen to it. Let us know a day or two later how you liked it. Perfect, because it's just audio, no actual visuals, so you can just put it in the background while you're doing your homework or you're working or whatever the hell you guys typically do. Anyways, thank you for that. Thank you to Dav and Spider-Man for being part of this. I'm gonna get this edited. I will try to get it within the next little while, but obviously stuff happens. You know how it is. But until then, thank you very much for listening, and we hope you all have a great day.
Bye, guys.
Peace.